Could you sense when a team was going to break?
Mm-hmm. It was always around the middle of the third quarter going into the fourth quarter. Some
Mm-hmm.
teams would last into, the early parts of the fourth quarter, but, kind of like I alluded to earlier, whenever we played the Arkansas or the Mississippi States or even the LSUs, and they were close knit throughout the game, we always knew that there was going to be a point where they were going to break. We always knew
Mm-hmm.
it. And there would be signs throughout the game. Once guys started putting their hands on their hips and we're like, oh, well, we just getting started. You getting tired? Are you looking to the sideline? You're getting a little tired, aren't you? Oh, you're in trouble because I am just getting started. Like I got a whole nother quarter and a half. You know what I mean? So I could tell that when I was watching this game. There were definitely times where, again, it was a little back and forth. Alabama looked in control, but not really in control. But I
Yeah.
could feel it building and
Yeah.
building. And it's almost kind of like a python, right? Like sometimes it's fast, right? Like you just open the floodgates and you just boom, 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 boom. You're just running them off the field. But this felt kind of like a python. Like it slowly, like Jalen Milroe slowly, like just poured it on. Rushing touchdown, passing touchdown. It wasn't even like the most explosive. I mean, he had a couple explosive plays. The touchdown to Ryan Williams, that was a big
Mm-hmm.
play. Jam Miller had a big run. Other than that, it seemed like they were just driving, just wearing them down, laying on them. And then eventually it just started, the stream started to pick up a little bit. And, once it gets to that point, I mean, I know people say that the tide rolls and a lot of people get tired of hearing that, but it does. Like once you get swept away by the tide, it ain't no coming back.
Mm-hmm. Jalen Milroe, 3 straight games with 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, buddy.
The only quarterbacks who've done that since 2008. Tim Tebow. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
Timmy T.
Johnny Manziel. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
Hell Manziel.
Jordan Lynch and Colin Kaepernick, the only guys to do that since 2008. Pretty elite
It's
company
elite company, man.
Ryan Williams, I feel like I'm contractually obligated, or else they're going to bust in here and tell me that I have to remind people that he is 17. But Damien, what is that dynamic like? Bama, there's so much 5-star talent everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when a kid comes into a place like that, and he's been on campus, I think he got there in January, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Double check me if I'm wrong. He's been there 8 months, and it's clear he's special. He seems clear that he's their best target.
Mm-hmm.
What is that dynamic like? Walking into a program with as much talent, and you've been there so short, and it's like, oh, this guy's just different.
Yeah, so I only know that from the outside looking in because my freshman year was like a redshirt year. Like I was like a core special teamer, like utility guy. Once Derek got his 200 yards, they just the Damien here and there. But my roommate was exactly what this kid Ryan Williams is, just on the defensive side of the ball, and he goes by the name of Minkah Fitzpatrick. And when I tell you, Minkah stepped onto campus, and from the very first time he stepped on that football field, every single 5-star on that team, every single coach, Nick Saban, everybody was like, this kid is special. Like he is something that out of all the 5-stars that we have, out of all the talent that we get, no, he is the 1% of the 1%. And that's what I see when I see this kid, Ryan Williams. I mean, he's got to have, the most plus 30-yard touchdown receptions of the season so far. And he's 17 years old. Yeah. So when you look at a kid like that, all you see is like the value that he adds to your program and like how special he can be. Coach Saban said that Ryan Williams reminds him of Amari Cooper. Yeah. This kid is 17 years old. Listen to this, people. This kid is 17 years old and being compared to Amari Cooper, the best route runner that I've ever seen. One of the most explosive wide receivers in Alabama history. In the NFL over a certain period of time. One of the most dominant receivers in the NFL. Like, that's how good this 17-year-old kid is. So all I can tell you is just get your popcorn and just watch him. See what this kid does over the next 3 years. People have started to forget, like, Alabama is one of the wide receiver U's. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Ohio State has had, Marvin Harrison Jr., and now they've got Jeremiah Smith, and they've had Jackson. I'm not even going to try to say his last name because I would butcher
Smith and Jigba.
Smith and Jigba, yes. Chris Olave. Like, they've had all these receivers in the past few years, but, like, Bama still got them guys, and Ryan Williams is definitely the young guy, because Alabama, it's weird. Alabama always even though you bring in all these 5-stars, like a lot of these 5-star guys like myself, they take a hit their freshman year. Like they sit behind, their respective elders. And because there's a 5-star guy ahead of you that's been playing for 2 or 3 years. But there's always one guy, like another guy that was in my rookie class that just, as soon as he stepped on the field and got it, was Calvin Ridley. You know what I mean? And then you see what he's been able to do. You see the deal that he just signed in the NFL. I mean, Ryan Williams, he's just a part of that pedigree of like special day one guys that immediately have an impact. And I mean, God protect him, and God keep him safe, but he will have a very, very, very successful career.